Well, thank you for being here. My name is Rick Gwynn. I am with Rudolph and Slutton, the builder, the contractor. I'm the executive for this project. So I'm the guy that gets called to the principal's office if something happens. I know some of you, and I look forward to meeting more of you. I want to welcome you to the topping off celebration kind of here today at Point Loma. Actually, I think there may have been some misinformation. This is actually a work party. So we have shovels, and President Brower said we could utilize some labor, so just teasing. I just want to kind of share the agenda that we're going to go through today. We have a few folks that are going to say some words to us. President Brower and Mackenzie Wise are going to come up and talk to us here in a few minutes. Ray Varela. Ray, I've known Ray a long time. Ray, one of the principals at Carrier Johnson, the architect, is also going to say a few words to us as well. I just want to acknowledge a few others that have helped us get to this point today. I'll share a few words about what the topping off celebration is here in a moment, but I would just want to acknowledge Bruce Kunkel and Ed Lewis and his team that help us here at Point Loma. These are some of the folks that, we have a trailer complex down here, and we're kind of the trailer trash, like trailer folks that kind of make this thing happen. So we're the trailer team. Bruce Heimbach with PMA, Adam Enright with Project Management Advisors as well. Sammy, Nigel, and Indra from Carrier Johnson. They're part of the architecture team that help us get to this day. And of course, my team. We have many of them. I'm not going to name them by name, but I'm very grateful for the time and effort that they put into this. And lastly, I want to acknowledge the subcontractor partners that help us. They're a key part of what we do. And if they're not here and not supporting us, it's a difficult road for us. So I'm really grateful for what they have done with us to get to this point. And of course, the faculty and staff and students that have, I guess, maybe tolerated us. We come in and, we do a lot. We dig big holes. We bring in big machinery. We kind of clog up things sometimes. So I just want to express my appreciation to all of you that help us do what we do, because we couldn't do it without all of your support here, because this is a tight place, and it just impacts a lot of different people. So thank you. So there's a lot of people that helped us get to this day and to this point. So what is a topping out celebration anyway? So historically, the topping out is the last maybe steel member, the last brick. And in our case, it's the last concrete pour that kind of closes up this structural shell that you see behind us. So the roof represents that. It was the kind of the last pour to bring this thing to a final structure. And it's a big milestone in any project that we do. And we always like to celebrate that event. And there's a lot of people that have helped us get there. You'll see kind of our tree. A tree represents. There's always a significance for that. It's a long historical piece of topping out, but the tree represents future growth and prosperity, and that is something that I personally want to happen here at this university, is future growth and prosperity. So Point Loma Nazarene University is a very special place in San Diego, and it has a very special mission. And we are, as Rudolph and Slutton and all of the builders that are behind this little fence right here, all the guys that are here, are truly vested in making this thing a great university for you. And we are just thankful to be part of it and to be part of that incredible legacy that you have here. So thank you for letting us be here. I'll turn some time over to President Brower and Mackenzie. They could say a few words, and then Ray will follow. I'll come back and kind of give you a little more of what we're going to do today with some tours and things like that. So, President Brown.
Thanks, Rick. Thank you for coming today to be a part of this. The hope of this building and the future is why we're here today. Sometimes dreams take a long time to make sense of. This dream has had some passage through some nightmarish days for a long time. And in fact, Dr. David Strawn is here. David, I don't know if you're somewhere in the back, but David was a young man, I think, when we started talking about this. And now as Professor Emeritus, this is a very special time for him, but for all of us. The reason we're doing this, and Rick mentioned it, it is for students. An opportunity for our faculty to work with students in continuing to build a great program, a great academic program that brings together faith and academics and the personhood that happens as we share and interact together. We had a couple of failed starts on this, but I think it was in God's providence that now, in this time, at this moment, we have a far superior facility than we ever could have had in any of our previous starts. And the work that has been done here sets us on a course for generations and generations of students yet to come. Perhaps someday when that small pine is 100 foot or so, some of you will look back and remember this moment, but remember the generations of students between now and the future. At our centennial, we set out a course to guarantee our bicentennial and to have a way for the future. This facility and all of this campus is the means by which we prepare generations for students to come. One of my privileges is to work with students, and Mackenzie is a special friend as our student body president. We've asked her today just to make a few comments about what this means to the life of a student. And even though she's going to escape a laboratory class here or another class down the way, want her to just reflect for a moment on what this means to the future for our students. So Mackenzie, please come.
Some of you may have been following the Ephesians 3:20 verse that we've been praying through this year, and I think the words you were looking for when you said this was God's timing is that this building is now better than we could have asked or imagined.
That's right.
So what you might think is funny is hearing from a communication major why the science building is so important. And I think I go back to the verse 1 Peter 4:10 that says, use whatever gifts you've been given to serve others. And for so many of us, college is that connecting point that takes us from where we are now to where we want to be, using those gifts in the best way possible. And when we come into school, sometimes we know what our gifts are, sometimes we don't. And so this building is a place where students learn about those gifts, they can realize their gifts, and they can also learn how to use them in the best way possible. And so this classroom doesn't just represent a place where students are learning, but it's a place where they're learning how to use their gifts to serve others. So it's setting them up for a life of ministry and vocation, and that's something that's common to all students at this school, not just students in the sciences. What's so cool about the science building is I've had so many friends who are in this program, and what they learn is not how they need to choose faith or science, but it's they learn how faith and science work together, and that really does set them up for a lifetime of ministry. And so that's why we're so excited about this building. Thanks.
Thanks, Lizzie. In Scripture, we understand that it's all of the parts of the body of Christ that come together to make the body of Christ work. And this is really an effort. Our donors, our faculty and staff, our students, these partners that we've had in construction and design and all of the work that has gone into this makes this day possible. I'm most looking forward to the latter part of July when we get the building delivered. We have a lot of work to do between then and the first day of class. But for our students who will begin this fall in this brand new facility, our prayer is that God's blessing will be across them and that everything that happens in this place and across this campus will be marked by the very presence of God. Thank you for being here and being a part of this today. We're going to hear from several others. Going to invite Ray to come with our architect, in the Carrier Johnson firm, and he's been intimately involved in this. He's going to talk a little bit about some of the feature designs, and I think as you see this building develop, there'll be some breathtaking experiences that will remind you of the very presence and activity of God, both in our teaching of faith and science in this place. Ray, please come. Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. I just want to say that once that scaffolding comes off in the next week or so, this project's going to look completely different than what you're seeing right now. And it's super exciting for us to be part of this special project. Point Loma is just dear to our hearts, and for me and my partner Gordon Carrier, this has been a really special experience for us. So I just want to thank Point Loma for that. A little background now. We started this project, Bob talks about, long coming, is 2008 is when we started this project, and we sketched and dreamed and did models and did all this work. And now to see it come alive day by day, it's really remarkable for us. Even though we do projects all the time, you kind of go, gosh, this looks right, it feels right. And you kind of always go back and say, are we doing the right thing? And even actually before I even got here, Armando from RNS, can you approve this light fixture to look right to you? So now I got to take it back and talk to Gordon about that. So it never ends, but we love doing that. We love the details, and that's kind of what we're here for. I wanted to kind of also say that none of this happens without the incredible leadership from Point Loma. Bob Brower and Joe Watkins, George Latter, Kerry Fulcher have been instrumental in just really guiding this whole and really giving us the license to kind of propose ideas and that we feel that would fit perfect, and they've been really generous in that respect. I also want to acknowledge the chair of biology and chemistry, Ken Martin and Don Page. They've been instrumental because the programming effort is basically deciding what goes into the building, and what you're seeing here is really a representation of that program. So now to see it all together, now you can better tell where your biology department is going to be, right, Ken? So I wanted to kind of say a couple of things about the project, just so hopefully you take some of the tours that RNS has scheduled, and to explain to you a little bit what you see behind here. At the very end, in that, I don't want to, let me see if I can move around here. I had to use my hands here, but what you're going to see at the end is basically 4 classrooms. Those are at the very west side. They're stacked together. There are 80 seats on one side, the ones on the left, and on the north side, there's 2 other classrooms that are stacked that are 60 seats. On the very top of those classrooms, as you walk along this path, is a terrace. So you're going to be able to see and view the ocean from the terraces. The rest of the building basically is biology down at the lower level and chemistry at the very top. So that's the programmatic ideas, but there are 4 things that really drove the design for the project. It is very unusual to do a project in a site like this. This is an incredible site. And the first time we viewed it, and being a faith campus, we felt that there were things that got created that could be incorporated into the project that people can see all the time. And that drove the thinking of the project from the inception all the way to the end. So the key things are the views to the ocean. Preserving this view corridor was really key. Respecting Ryan Library to make sure they got a view to the ocean was super key. Right in the middle of that is going to be a central gathering space. That's going to be a place where you have multiple functions. You'll descend slightly from Calf Lane down into a grassy area into a plaza. And that's pretty important because now it gives the campus another place for you guys to gather. The other element was to make a connection of all the sciences. Roar, we wanted to make a connection. So the curve that you see here behind me, that curve, and you're probably wondering why is there a curve there, is because ultimately there's going to be a bridge that connects the end of that all the way to the entrance to Roar, and there'll be a bridge on this side of Roar. So basically you can move around the building and through the landscape through a series of spaces. We took a lot of time to not just think about the building, but also think about the outside spaces. There's going to be places for between the buildings so people can gather. There's a courtyard actually at the end of at the lower level where the classrooms are going to be. All these spaces to us is about creating community in the campus. So I hope you will enjoy that when you see it as it develops. It's going to be fabulous. One aspect, though, I want to kind of reinforce the thinking and why, to us, this is just a special project. You know, for us, buildings are buildings, and you can move boxes and identify this is, you know, chemistry and this is biology. But the opportunity here that led itself from the beginning was, how do we really bring the faith and the sciences together into something meaningful? And to us, that was super important. And what you're going to be seeing here, probably more like towards the end, even though I think RNS has a mock-up of the idea down at the parking lot, at the old tennis courts down at the bottom there, you can go see it. There's a feature that actually follows that curve, and it does two things. One, it protects us from the sun, from the south sun, and keeps the building cool. This is going to be a LEED Gold certified building. That was an important component for the project. But more importantly to us was to really capture this joinery between the sciences and faith. And what you're going to see in these panels, there are about 160 panels. And what you're going to see are symbols. And each one of those symbols are basically Alpha and the Omega. And it comes from Revelations. I am the Alpha, I am the Omega, I am the beginning and the end. And you're going to see them scattered. The great thing about that is that the Alpha and the Omega are symbols that you also find in the sciences. So it's a subtle way of kind of bringing the sciences together. But to us, it raises the building from merely being a facility to being a great piece of architecture and art. So I hope you'll enjoy it, and we look forward to kind of the tours. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer, and I'll pass it over to Rick.
So we, Ray, just a few words, and then I'll talk to you about the tours. But Ray alluded to, in his very opening words, was he's excited when the scaffolding comes down, and I am as well. That all of that is coming down here very, very soon, and you're going to see this building take shape very rapidly. The interiors are going to take shape very rapidly. You'll walk through the second floor, and it kind of looks a little bit barren in there. It's going to be hard to do some research with the way you have it right now, but it's going to come together very quickly. So keep that in mind. We're truly excited to be here. We're excited about this building just as much as Ray alluded to.